Do you feel somebody in that $100,000 range, is there a quantity of hours per week that you would kind of reasonably expect, or is it still a 40 and get out the door?
I'm not looking for anyone that is doing either. I don't want them to have an hourly, how little work can I do for how much money I can do mindset. I don't want them to have a JOB mindset. I want them to might be done in 60.
Do you feel somebody in that $100,000 range, is there a that you would kind of reasonably expect, or is it still a 40 and get out the door?
I'm not looking for anyone that is doing either. I don't want them to have an hourly, how little work can I do for how much money I can do mindset. I don't want them to have a JOB mindset. I want them to have an ownership mindset. And then if I get the job done and everything's under control, I'm booking. We're going out to dinner tonight. But if there's a problem and I got to stay and get the problem fixed because I act like an owner, and that takes me to a certain number of hours, well, whoopee, get the freaking job done. So I would expect her to have an owner mentality, regardless if that resulted in 30 hours or 45 hours in a given week. And I suspect, based on having run businesses, and you have too, that it might vary. Some weeks you might be done in 30, and some weeks you might be done in 60.
Do you feel somebody in that $100,000 range, is there a quantity of hours per week that you would kind of reasonably expect, or is it still a 40 and get out the door?
I'm not looking for anyone that is doing either. I don't want them to have an hourly, how little work can I do for how much money I can do mindset. I don't want them to have a JOB mindset. I want them to have an ownership.
On the afternoon of...
Oh, this is a bad one. How far along?
If you could increase your monthly income by...
Well, actually, Elvis loved the song. That was when he and Priscilla were having their problems, which I met her recently, and she told me that Elvis loved that song, and he had sung that to her on the day of their divorce. He said he kind of leaned in and sang a little bit of I Will Always Love You. But during that time, it's no fault of Elvis, he loved the song. But that goes back to that other thing, because Elvis was ready to record it. I'd told my friends and people that he was recording it, and they were in town to do the recording. They had invited me down to the session, and Colonel Tom Parker calls me the day before and says, now you do know that Elvis is recording your song, and you do know that Elvis don't record anything that he don't publish, or at least get half the publishing on. I said, I can't do that. This song's already been a hit with me, and this is in my publishing company, and obviously this is going to be one of my most important copyrights, and I can't give you half the publishing, because that's stuff that I'm leaving for my family. I said, well, I'm really sorry. Well, actually, Elvis loved the song. That was when he and Priscilla were having
the greatest compliment my son ever gave me. We're having another disagreement about social media because I'm a Luddite and I won't let my son have it. And Snapchat especially. I think Snapchat's clinically insane for kids to have that. But I told him, I finally said, hey, tell your friends at school that your dad is a loser and he sucks and he's an old man and he just won't let me have it. And he, in frustration and exasperation, said, I can't say that because that's not true. And when he turned around, I was like, oh yeah, like, right, he gets it. And dude, I get it too. Nobody wants to be the only one or frustrated or whatever. The greatest compliment my son ever gave me. We're having another disagreement about social media because I'm a Luddite and I won't let my son have it. And Snapchat especially. I think Snapchat's clinically insane for kids to have that. But I told him, I finally said, hey, tell your friends at school that your dad is a loser and he sucks and he's an old man and he just won't let me have it. And he, in frustration and exasperation, said, I can't say that because that's not true. And when he turned around, I was like, oh yeah, like, right, he gets it. And dude, I get it too. Nobody wants to be the only one or frustrated or whatever. The greatest compliment my son ever gave me. We're having another.
If you're over 60.
He thought she was begging for scraps until her eyes changed everything. It was a cold night outside a five-star restaurant. A frail young girl in tattered clothes approached a wealthy businessman enjoying his dinner. May I have your leftovers, sir? She whispered, trembling. The millionaire barely glanced at her until their eyes met. For a moment he saw the pain, the hunger, the lost childhood in her gaze. Memories of his own daughter, lost to illness years ago, crashed over him like a wave. Tears filled his eyes as he pushed the untouched plate toward her. But then he did more. He called over the waiter, ordered a hot meal, and handed her a gold card with his name. "This is for a fresh start," he said, his voice cracking. The girl stared in disbelief, tears streaming down her cheeks. That night, a millionaire's heart found its richest treasure: compassion. One kind act can rewrite an entire life.
How you doing, Sonny? Not so good, huh? I want to...
This is the most effective and affordable way.
A few years ago, one of my daughters turned 16 years old. She wants to go to New York City. So we're in Times Square, and Times Square is lit up at nighttime like it's the daytime.
That's
super
right,
bright.
yeah.
And right outside of our window is a donut shop called Krispy Kreme.
Indeed.
Right? I take my two youngest daughters down, and as we're walking into the door, the line is backed up. It's like a 20-minute wait at 11 p.m. at night to get donuts.
Wow.
So we're waiting in line, and inside of it, they're selling merchandise. People are buying Krispy Kreme. I'm like, who needs a donut t-shirt? They buying t-shirts, they buying hats. There's a window that has a conveyor belt. They have a glazed waterfall where little naked donuts are just going down the conveyor belt, getting drizzled with the glaze. You're gonna be hungry after this. You're gonna eat after this. But the amazing thing is, as we stood in the back of that line, I heard a guy at the counter yell out, "Ladies and gentlemen, we just sold another Big Apple donut." And everybody made some noise. And I'm like, this is interesting. And in about another 5 minutes, we move up a little closer. And he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we just sold another Big Apple donut." Everybody make some noise and people clapped. And even though I couldn't even see up to the counter what was going on, there was one thing in my mind. And the one thing in my mind is, what is a Big Apple donut? And how can I get one? It was not about the donut, because I didn't know what the donut tasted like. So I didn't necessarily want the donut. What I wanted intrinsically was that experience.
It's a true story.
So I get all the way
good.
up to the counter, and as I get up to the counter, I say I want one of those Big Apple donuts. So she got the Big Apple donut for me. You know, I paid everything, and then she just slid across the table. So I slid it back, and I was like, I don't want this, like, because I didn't. She was under the mistake that I wanted the donut. I didn't want the donut. I wanted the experience. Now I tell a story, you know, different places I speak. The number one question.
I'm not gonna hurt you, lady.
Oh, here, take it.
Well, it's a nice stop, but it's not what I want. What are you doing? I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh my God. Listen to me. Nothing's this important. Come on, come down here. What are you doing?
What are you carrying?
Because I owe somebody a favor.
Not me.
Why not you?
Oh, please. Go away. Trust me. I'm not worth it.
Why is that?
Oh, for God's sake.
Come on, tell me. Why are you not worth it?
You wouldn't understand.
Are you kidding me? You think I live at the Ritz? Have a cup of coffee with me? Do me a favor. Save my life.
Get him! Oh, he missed him. Oh, yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Come on, please, dude.
Distraction from Vampiro.
Oh, he's got him. Give it DDT. Here he comes. Up he goes and drop on his ass.
I'm not gonna hurt you, lady.
Oh, here, take it.
No wonder Trump would rather give up the presidency than stop going after Harvard. The three people...
Mom and Daddy got married very, very young.
If someone isn't listening to you,
party older men were
We've got a few employees that want to work through their lunch hour and leave an hour early.
A woman decided to give herself a big treat for her 70th birthday by staying overnight in a really nice hotel. When she checked out the next morning, the desk clerk handed her a bill for $250. She demanded to know why the charge was so high. "I agree it's a nice hotel, but the rooms aren't worth $250 for just an overnight stay. I didn't even have breakfast." The clerk told her that $250 is the standard rate, and breakfast had been included had she wanted it. She insisted on speaking to the manager. The manager appeared and, forewarned by the desk clerk, announced, "This hotel has an Olympic-sized pool and a huge conference center which are available for use. But I didn't use them. Well, they are here, and you could have. He went on to explain that she could also have seen one of the in-hotel shows for which they were so famous. We have the best entertainers from the world over performing here, but I didn't go to any of those shows. Well, we have them, and you could have. No matter what amenity the manager mentioned, she replied, but I didn't use it. And the manager countered with his standard response. After several minutes discussion, and with the manager still unmoved, she decided to pay, wrote a check, and gave it to him. The manager was surprised when he looked at the check. But madam, this check is for only $50. That's correct, I charged you $200 for sleeping with me. But I didn't. Well, too bad, I was here, and you could have. The woman decided to give herself a big treat for her
The young mom urgently needed to step away, so she handed her baby girl to a security guard and rushed off. The little girl started crying after her mom left, but the guard quickly calmed her down. To soothe her completely,
this pissed off a lot.
Hey! Get in the car. Boss wants to have a word with you.
I don't think so.
Hey, stop! Stop! You did see that I have a fucking gun, right?
Yeah, you made a pretty big point of showing it to me.
You don't understand how this works, do you?
But you have a gun.
Why is it that Jack Black, who has
in 19